even before dissidents had become the rage of this age, the Iran Policy Committee was studying dissidents. Half a decade ago, we started working on this problem, and we made significant progress. Even before the Tunisian, the Egyptian, the Syrian revolt, which will eventually happen, our Syrian colleagues, where are they? There they are. It will happen. It will happen. Patience is power. Now, a couple of conclusions that emerged from one of our books called Appeasing the Ayatollahs and Suppressing Democracy. And I want to thank Alan Gerson, who helped formulate that particular title. Thank you, Attorney Gerson. One of our conclusions is that Iranian dissident organizations survive only if they are resilient, have popular support, and are able to withstand all of the difficulties that will come from a hostile regime. And those organizations that could not withstand the pressures from the regime faded away into world history. Secondly, opposition groups that were able to survive were those that put together a grand coalition. And the National Council of Resistance of Iran is already a coalition. Now, one of our main conclusions was that the Iranian regime pays attention to the Mujahideen 350% more than all other opposition groups combined during 2005. The regime pays attention. If the regime pays attention, then so should we pay attention to the Mujahideen. In addition, the regime hates the Mujahideen. As the regime hates the Mujahideen, we should love the Mujahideen. First, let's take Masoud Rajavi, Mr. Rajavi. He said in 2002, and he repeated it in October of this year, 2012, Masoud Rajavi said, we suggest the composition of a national solidarity front based upon three principles. Overthrow of rule by the clerics. This idea of Velayat al-Faqih, which does not have any basis in Shiite history or Muslim history, is the basis for the rule of the clerics in Iran. Secondly, there should be a secular government. And thirdly, commitment to an independent republic. Those were very moderate suggestions by Mr. Rajavi. Now we look at some of the statements by Mohammad Reza Khatami. Now you know what he was supposed to be the reformer. This was a little before the Green Movement hit the news, but we learned that the Green Movement of Mousavi and Karoubi almost take identical statements. They accept clerical rule in Iran. That's the bottom line. But let me look at a couple of their statements. In an interview in an Iranian newspaper in October 2012, same year that Mr. Rajavi made his statements, he said, we reformers are not interested in overthrowing the regime. That's one of the titles of this article. Indeed, Khatami wants the regime's constitution to be preserved, even if all reforms were rejected. Even if the reformers lost all the reforms, they were willing to give up, go silent, if you will. All the reformers say they want to do is to work within the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The last thing he said was that I want to state explicitly that in no time will reformers take any action to overthrow the system. If the system cannot and is not reformed, the reformers will not enter into another phase, violent phase, for example. We might go to the sidelines and keep silent or even go about our business and lives. But I emphasize that we never, ever will work against the overthrow of the regime. But in fact, the reformers are a part of the regime. That's what the State Department never understood. You look in the Green Movement, look at Musavi. Musavi was prime minister over a decade. He was the one that helped preside over the nuclear installations. The centrifuges sped up under the reformers. The reformers presided over bringing the terrorist confederation began to meet in Tehran during the reformers. So the reformers and the Green Movement have lost legitimacy on the Iranian street by addressing our colleagues at Ashraf and at Liberty. The gold coins phrase comes out of Ashraf. It's old Farsi, if you will. The gold coins are too important to be cast aside, as the special representative of the United Nations, Kobler, is trying to do. I think that you should know, those in Ashraf and those at Liberty, that we are aware of Iraqi law. Iraqi law says that if you have lived in a place for over 15 years and there's it's in an uncontested way, no one has challenged your contractual relationship with that place, this is part of your possession. Not only the movable assets should be a part of the residence, but the fixed assets.